Hello folks, Scrimper UK here. I just thought I'd do a little video on what I think is the most dangerous hand tool in the workshop. I say hand tool rather than machine tool. We'll do the machine one later, but this is what I think about hand tools. Now, the good old trusty tenon saw, lovely tool, could be quite dangerous. You know, you're sawing a piece of wood, it's the saw slips because you're not holding it properly, and the next thing is, you know, you've cut your fingers. So that could be quite dangerous, I suppose. So that's one thing. Then you could have the trusty Stanley type knife. Doesn't have to be Stanley, this is a Stanley one, it could be any make. And again, you're drawing it along like this to do a cut, and it slips and you've cut your hand. So that's quite dangerous. Then we've got tools like, for example, your woodworking chisel. Lovely old woodworking chisel. And you're cutting away at a bit of wood like this. And being a bit dopey, you put your thumb in the wrong place, you're holding it there, the thing slips, and bang, you've cut your finger. So, quite dangerous really. Then you've got the good old hammer. That could be quite dangerous, couldn't it? You got your nail, and you're bashing it in the wood like this. Oh dear, the hammer slips and bang. Next thing is, you know, you've hit your finger. It hurts like hell, even when you hold it onto the cold tap. And then later on you get a black fingernail. And it's horrible. But that's not the most dangerous. I'm going to pull that out. Of course, there is another danger with a hammer. You put the nail in, you clout it, and the nail flies off. And if you're lucky, it goes somewhere where you can't find it. If you're unlucky, it hits you in the eye. And then you should have goggles on, really. But that's the hammer. I don't think that's the most dangerous. Then you've got the nice smoothing plane, Stanley smoothing plane or other make, doesn't matter the make. Nice tool. Look at that, lovely. Nothing beats the swish of a smoothing plane across a piece of wood and the lovely shavings that come off it. But again, could be dangerous. You've got a very sharp cutter there. You could easily cut your hand on it if it slips, so be careful with that. But it's still not the most dangerous tool. Now, what I think the most dangerous tool in the workshop is none of those I've mentioned. It's actually the one you think is the least dangerous. The most dangerous hand tool in the workshop, in my opinion, is actually the screwdriver. But not this type of screwdriver. Obviously they can be dangerous. You're putting a screw in like this and your hand slips, the screwdriver slips, goes in your finger, so it is quite dangerous, but certainly not as dangerous as a chisel. The screwdriver that is the most dangerous is one of these, or one of these. They're both the same. They're made either the Super Spirolux Yankee or the Stanley Yankee. They're identical screwdrivers but different manufacturers. Both of these are British made, by the way. They don't even make them now. But I'll just demonstrate how you can use them and how marvellous they are. If you've got an ordinary screw there you want to poke in, you just turn that in the old ring. Job done. If you want to take the screw out again, you just move this little ratchet, there we go, move that ratchet that way, and then do the reverse, and then it pulls the screw out. I'll do the same with the other one. This is a slotted one, the same principle. Just turn the old ring, away you go. There we go, brilliant. And again, if you want to take the screw out, you can just remove the ratchet. It's not as easy to take it out because you're putting pressure on it, which makes it more difficult. It will bring it out. Also, the advantage of these is that when they're in use, you can get a huge amount of power behind. You've got a great big long, it's a long, 20 odd inches long, and a biggish handle, and you can get both hands on the top and get some real power on it to put a difficult screw in. They're marvellous at that. But getting back to the dangerous bit, the reason I think these are the most dangerous tools in the workshop is this. Watch. Bang. Or this. Watch. You see that? Just imagine if you don't know what you're doing, or if you open that, or if it opens by accident at the wrong time. It's like a bullet out of a gun. You can hardly see it happening. It's so quick. It's really scary. And I mean, you've got to treat these tools with a heck of a lot of respect, because they don't look dangerous, that's the point. But imagine you're pointing that upwards towards your face, and under a shelf or something, trying to put a screw in. I'm going to look away, because even doing it like this, it's I don't like it. Watch. Bang. Imagine that. going in your eye. I mean, it could take your eye out. In fact, I have actually heard of somebody who was actually doing some kitchen fitting under a shelf and looking down on it, and it did go in his eye and he lost an eye. So it can be very dangerous, but don't be put off by them. They are really good tools if you can get them. They're not easy to get now, but they can be dangerous. I think they're the most dangerous tools in the workshop. My grandsons both do woodwork, and I always stipulate to them that they must not use these without me being there, and they must always be left open on the bench like this for safety, because they can be very, very dangerous, but nonetheless a good tool. As you can see, I've got quite a good range of these spiral screwdrivers. No, I didn't buy them all. I did buy some, but most of them were given to me by people who didn't want them anymore. This is the very first one I actually bought, the 20-inch one. I actually paid for that, but most of the others have come from other sources. In fact, this one here, I don't know if you can see from it, it's got the initials Allen S stamped on it, which actually stands for Lynchbury & Sons, which was a factory in Kingham in Oxfordshire. And as a young lad, I worked there, and I actually used these in the factory, which was my first introduction to these spiral screwdrivers and prompted me to want one of my own. And over the years, I've collected various ones. There's different lengths, as you can see, and different types, but these are my favourites. The reason I'm talking about the Lynchbury & Sons one is, when I used this in the factory as a young lad and I was keen on woodwork, I always fancied one of these myself, and obviously I hadn't got much money, but I was on holiday in Brixham in Devon one year, and I was only about 13 or 14, and I went into the local Woolworths, if people remember Woolworths, which was a marvellous little shop, big shop actually, and I saw this, and it's a very simple spiral screwdriver. It's only a tiny thing, about 10 inches long, but it's got exactly the same principles, and that was the very first one I ever bought, and I've still got it, and that's going back a long, I'm not going to tell you when, because you'll work out how old I am, but it's a long time ago, and I was about 13 when I bought that, and I was really pleased with it. Since then I've acquired these others. This was a cheap unbranded thing, but it still works. Empire made, I think it said on it. And this one's the Stanley equivalent. It's not much better, but it's made by Stanley, made in Germany, that one. This is a proper Stanley Yankee, a smaller version. I don't use this one very often. Again, I didn't buy it. It was given to me by somebody who didn't want it, you know. Somebody's father passed away and left some tools, and he didn't want them, the chap, and he said, "Do you want these tools?" So naturally, being a scrimper, I didn't say no, did I? I never do. But there you are, a very useful range of screwdrivers, but also, in my opinion, the most dangerous. You have to decide for yourself. Bye for now.